as I was working. My trading days are Tuesday and Thursday, but definitely some moves to be had today. Just had a quick glance at my phone and it looks like GJ gave the best players of the day. And also just looking at gold quickly, we did have a perfect rejection of 1803 and quite aggressive. Let's have a look on the lower time entry points. Well, yeah, we did have. Let's have a look. This was the rejection. Yeah, that was free agent. That was doing very aggressive to fair. So just do a slight head and shoulders on the 1 minute. What am my trading time? In terms of entries, I do like that was free agent as well, but I do like this double bottom and failures to continue trading below these 1 hour candle body closures and this support level. I do like a double bottom scenario, but this played out during Asian and corrected some of this strong downside move on gold yesterday. It does seem like we've broken, retested a potential trend line as well today. Quite decisive. I said indecisive and quite poor price action during New York, but Asian gave solid moves. I'm just going to look at the Asian price action. So this is the initial low. We start having a corrective phase. Failures to come and test these lows again. I like how we respect the key level. And then we have a 1 hour closure above it, bottom wick formed, and then a nice strong rejection. Failures to trade below it. You could either have took the first rejection of it, or even if you were more patient, you would have seen another rejection of 1795, and then you could have took another entry there. What potential other entry point? But I do like this as a potential entry, and then stops beneath these lows here. If price was going to engulf it, you'd expect a further push down to these lows. So you got about a 15 pip stop loss. Yeah, I do like that. Maybe that's a bit tight of a stop loss. But the trade idea would be invalid if we started getting candle body closures below this zone here. But yeah, that was a solid play. Strong consecutive bullish candles. Stops at break even once you get above these sensitive highs here. You can also see the price reacting to it on the 1 minute. And you see a break and retest scenario, closures above, perfect. Couple of retests of it and closures above, and then that's a nice solid price action. That's exactly what you want to see really. Consecutive bullish candles. This is completely fine. This is a 30-minute close, bottom wick candle, bottom wick on the 1 minute. So you see that rejection there, you know, you're probably going to want to test these highs at least. And once that wick's broken, you get a perfect reaction to the next key level, and you take profit zone. You could have as well held the trade if you had any runners, but held trade to break even. Once you got to your first TP level, well, like I said, probably for me, I'd be going to break even once we've cleared these highs there and close, and then if we get good closing back within this range, maybe take some profits and set the rest at break even, because there's less probability, maybe more probability of you going back towards entry if you fail to trade above this range. So yeah, and then later on it breaks a break and retest it. Quite early on as well. So if it was a trading day for me, I imagine I wouldn't have caught these entries as well. But that's a solid play as well. Break and retest of sensitive price area and enough of a range to the key level for a good solid trade. And then I do like how we respecting these laws here. Failures to trade below it, instant rejections, double bottoms. That's a nice trade to be had as well, if it was around. If it was around a solid trading time for me. So nice buys on gold really. New York, very indecisive, poor to trade, no solid moves. But yeah, here's in session giving some solid players again. I was done quite a bit recently. Right, GJ. So during London, we had a slight correction and pullback. This strong bearish move yesterday, and after the strengthening of safe havens following the USD news. It seems like we're potentially done a retrace on this channel I've got drawn out, maybe. But we've failed to close below 152,300, and we have technically made a new low, but we haven't made a convincing lower low yet, and pushed down and expanded to the downside towards these lows. But we've had a small corrective fade, which has been rejected strongly really. Let's look at any potential trades I could have took today if I was trading. First I'm just going to scroll down to the hourly now. Right. Not my trading hours. Not really, no. I wouldn't have took that. Right, okay. So I do like our New York strong bearish candle, signs of exhaustion at these highs. Didn't quite reach the key level and day level, but very close to it. Only literally 3 pips off it. I do like this, another exhaustion candle. I do like how this hourly candle retested. It tested this resistance area and then rejected it to the downside, leaving a quite weak bullish candle, which could easily be broken. So let's look on the 1 minute around this area here, because this would be an area of interest for me after seeing this 1 hour close. Right. So we don't get much of a hourly top wick again. It's literally no bottom wick, no top wick, sorry. But this is just common now. This happens a lot. It's happened here. Happened here. It's happened here. It's happened here. this is just something you've got to familiarise yourself with. Um, and if you still get the confirms, which follow your trading plan, then take the entry. Just be cautious that the top wick hasn't been formed yet. Just be cautious of that, but still let it put you off taking an entry if you get the price action confirms. It's another reminder to myself. But yeah, I do like how we had some rejections there of this level 152,800. We obviously got the weak bullish hourly close, the stronger bearish candle next to it, so an indication that the bears are in control. And then we get a closure below this low, and also we get a close below this low here and this minor resistance, support, sorry. And then this candle is I love this candle. Perfect. Tiny bullish retracement to the key level, very weak bullish candle. Just a strong sign that, yeah, we're in control there. And quite slow price action towards the key level, but we never snap back above this range here and back above these lows. So trade idea is still valid. Never goes back to your entry as well, so no reason to close. And then get closures. Quite choppy price action, but once we get below these lows here, we get that nice push down, tiny retracement, straight down into the key level. And yeah, that'll probably be the play for today. Half-free, so I'd want to take, alright, say in hindsight, but it's half-free in it, so quite late into this New York session, heading towards London close, so probably best to close majority of the trade. But you could have held runners here, and then potentially once you get failures to trade below this low here, get a double bottom scenario, maybe that's best time to close the rest of the trade. It's a nice 3-to-1 trade. Close the rest here, or especially here, once you get above this high here, or you get above the key level, the original TP spot, you could close the rest of the runner there. But quite a sensible, looks like the best time to close was at this double bottom scenario, just bearing in mind that it's late in the session. Maybe if it was earlier in the day, still under New York Open or London Open, you could swing it you could intraday trade it if you thought your position was good enough and you thought there was more of the daily range you could capture. But yeah, solid trade. Obviously, if it was to, in terms of managing the trade, if it was invalid, if you had the bullish close rejection of this candle here, an instant rejection and close back above, fake out scenario, then you just take a tiny loss here. Just take a tiny loss. It should be around 4 or 5 pips compared to the 12 stop loss. So yeah, nice trade. What's this entry here? $230. No, quite bullish price action at that point. Yeah, price closes below this old resistance point as well, which is interesting. It's good to see. Structured price action, showing the bears are in control. And then we grab liquidity eventually from these lows. Alright, so that's interesting. So in terms of holding a runner, you could, if you like me, I like to look at areas of liquidity which could be targeted. So people's stop losses below these lows here from buyers through Asian, and also it being the bottom of the range. Yeah, that could be your final TP if you started getting rejections. You started getting rejections and failures to trade. Looks like you can't get in the double bottom scenario and the failures to trade below. Give you so it reacts perfectly to them candle body lows. So that could be extra confidence for when you get that double bottom scenario. You could be like, yeah, well, I'm just going to take that there. It looks like we've grabbed liquidity for the day there, and I'm happy just taking, instead of trying to ride it out to the next key level. I could have got out. Could have got out there and took the maximum amount from the trade instead of trying to hold it to the next key level later on in the day. Bearing in mind that you've already grabbed that liquidity. Price has already grabbed that liquidity. Right. Yeah, nice moves on GJ today. Ooh, nice move. You have to be patient and wait until later on in the sessions, but again, this is something that's happening consistently now. Later on in New York Stock Exchange Open, and later on into New York and towards London close, you are getting some solid structured moves. So yeah, you've got to be open-minded about them trading times really. Something to bear in mind when I finish earlier as well, just to check the charts a bit more often and be open to taking trades later on in the sessions. So yeah, on DXY, and gold, just looking at the correlation in between the two, and yeah, we did have some spikes down on gold today, probably because of that strength in the dollar. I need multiple screens, me. So yeah, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we've reached them highs there. We have closed above them. Just looks like we retested them now. That was at 2, 3 o'clock. Let's have a look at gold at 2 and 3 o'clock. So 2 and 3 o'clock, you get them spikes down to these lows here. Liquidity grabs, but not enough strength to break these lows here. In terms of trade ideas, I would like to see either for sellers, I would like to see these lows, intraday hourly closes below these lows here and the key level 1795. To tech sells down to the next key level, bearing in mind, and then we would be back in this range as well. So you could argue that we'll go down to test the bottom of this range. For safer buyers, I'd like to see this high broken, and that would be obviously a new high made. But also bearing in mind this is a certain sensitive price area and key level, so I would like to see a slightly higher time frame closures above it, such as the hour, and then I'd like to see some support formed above it, and then we could start targeting next key levels and other highs as well, and continue up to these further discounted levels. But first we have had that strong rejection from the 3082 level, but bearing in mind if we do start trading above this high, that would indicate that we are going to at least 50% of the NFP corrected move and NFP move, we are going to correct at least 50% of it and potentially more, 62% and 70.5. So yeah, just bearing that in mind really, but I'd like to see they start being a lot more patient in terms of entry points. It's alright using the 1 minute, but Oliver, for me, I need to make sure that higher time frames align with my bias on the lower time frames. Just using the lower time frames and key levels to really execute good entries. But I need to make like that trade I took yesterday. I closed it early because it was a risky trade. The hourly closed bullish. Yeah, it closed below the key level, but I luckily called a top really. There was consolidation on the lower time frames at the key level, at the psychological level, but on another, it could have easily continued to the upside. I basically called a top. It had lower time frame confirmed, but you need if you're looking for a reversal type of trade when you're going against the overall trend for the day, you need to see more supports, resistances formed on the higher time frames, such as the hour or 30-minute or 50-minute at least, to sort of give you more confidence and confirms before taking them higher risk entries. It's better to catch the rest of the move, like what here where you've seen that strong rejection on the hourly, and you can argue that yeah, we're going to go and test these lows at least here. After this, you've had the retracement as well, had the retracement back up to these highs here. So yeah, you'd argue that you've got more of an idea that a stronger bias, higher time frame bias. But yeah, we've rejected these highs here. We've closed below this previous high, and we've got a weak bullish exhaustion candles. So yeah, I'd feel more comfortable taking that low time frame entry at that time, and the probabilities would be higher. I'm just going to look at here because I was just looking at this point here because I was on the hourly. It seems like the hourly wick does push below, slightly below this 152,800. But I just wanted to look on the 1 minute time frame to see if it was a fake out entry and a potential entry where I could have lost on. But it wasn't because there was no candle body closures below it and below these price areas. On this psychological price area and this some minor support here. There was no closures below it. There was actually signs of exhaustion there, giving that, and then it gave that deeper pullback as well. So yeah, that's good to see. The confirms work there on the lower time frames. But if you was, for example, let's have a look. If someone was to take a trade, if it broke the bottom wick of the hourly, it just about didn't, to be fair, so people would have been safe from entry points there as well. For impulse trades and stuff. But yeah. Solid price action there. Right, that's pretty much everything really. So just to summarise, okay, well yeah, for GJ, I'd like to see if we are in a range now, so I would like to see hourly closures below this level for sells, and then entries below 152,200, and then heading towards, we've got clear price action to the left there as well, beyond 152,100, below 152,100 clear traffic, so you would expect GJ to come and test this low here. If we do get the confirms and closures below them bodies. If not, and we see signs of exhaustion throughout Asian, and then support formed, and then some nice strong support formed here, sort of a triple bottom scenario. Then you could start riding buys throughout London, 215, 2800, and then watch out for these sensitive price areas here. Yeah. And then surface buys when if you start breaking these highs here. And then start trading above 153, 200. That should be a clean move to 152, 153, 500. You'd expect. But like I said, if you start seeing exhaustion, these lows here now, some stronger support formed throughout Asian, and then the confirms and bullish price action above 152, 500. Then yeah, you can start taking buys and correct this downside move. Yeah, that's pretty much everything.